What is good, family? What is going on? This is your girl. I am Courtney Michelle, and thank you again for joining me for this kind of impromptu live. Usually, I do Wednesdays. My times I'm going to have to get a little better. So, you guys tell me what times you would like me to go on that you guys can attend and join me. I can't have these conversations without you. Your opinion, your input means the world to me, and I like having these dialogues. So I am going to let people come on in. What is going on, Vivian? I see you, Barry, my guy. Canadian born. What's going on, Albie? I see you. Thank you guys for joining me. Byro. I'm going to get that together, but I appreciate you. Thank you guys for joining me. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. If you guys are familiar with my lives, I've been doing a lot of interviews because I'm trying to get to know a lot of the key players in this space. And I have a lot more to come with that. But besides the interviews, when I do these particular lives, I just don't necessarily just give my opinion. I try to dig a little bit deeper, come with some historical facts, and I really put in some work on my shows because you guys are worthy of the information, and I learn a lot from even doing these, and I learned a lot by doing this. So let's go ahead and get in it. You guys saw the thumbnail. We are going to be talking about the Little Mermaid, and they done made Ariel black. Oh my goodness. I haven't heard such an uproar, so many angry people upset in a long time, and it had me questioning the whys. So I'm familiar with the story, of course. About 3 years ago, Disney came out and said they was going to make Ariel black, and they decided to do it with the singer, um, what is that, Halle Bailey. Beautiful girl, beautiful artist, lovely voice, and they decided to pick her. So 3 years ago, a whole lot of people had so much to say. And of course, I know the wokest and the liberal, a lot of the white folks was so excited. Yes, inclusion. Yes, diversity. But then on the flip side, a lot of people and a lot of black people were like, are they trying to pander to us again? So they're just going to pick a black woman to play Ariel. What is the intent of them doing it? Why? And for me, I was kind of divided. I understood that it's important to have representation. From someone that went to an HBCU, I've always stated, and I've always said on my shows or even panels that I've been on, is the reason why I went to an HBCU was because of a different world. I never saw educated, collegiate Black people on TV. And yes, I knew them around me, but having that visual, especially as a young girl, encouraged me. I couldn't believe so many beautiful Black people in school. And so that was really the reason why I didn't apply to any other school but a HBCU. And it was because of that. So I understood that representation matters. However, I did understand that creativity matters. I understand that in order for Black people to show ourselves in a different light, we're going to have to start creating. We're going to have to start showing ourselves in a better image. So I understood the whole Ariel is why flip flop and carbon copy something that was already made decades ago. So I was really on the fence until recently. So recently, um, the trailer came out, the trailer of A Little Mermaid. And I was excited about it. Of course, you guys know I have a little girl. She is 6 years old. And when I tell you, when she saw the trailer, um, her reaction for me said it all. And having this conversation, it was, what's more important, the intent or the impact? And these conversations with the Little Mermaid, for me, it boils down to that. We can talk about the intent of Disney, or we can talk about the impact that this is having on our young Black girls. So when I saw the trailer, I knew it was going to be some comments, but I was quite surprised as far as what people were saying, the dislikes, and it was over 1 million dislikes, and everyone is hating, and it's going to be a flop. So I decided to look into the comments to see what really people were saying. Of course, these comments, no one's going to tell you in your face, but when you get on the internet, you get a little bold, and sometimes you get to say stuff that's really on your heart. So I want to pull up some of the comments. And I'm not even going to front. Made me quite upset. So let's look at the comments and then we're going to go from there. Let's pull some of these up because, child. So some of the comments that I saw, and this is under the trailer for The Little Mermaid. As a Jew, I would love to see a monkey and Frank. Okay. What the F? A Black Mermaid, childhood memory ruined. Off a Black Mermaid, your childhood is ruined. Okay. Disgusting. I definitely won't be seeing it, and I'll be convincing as many people as I can not to see it. Disney, you have become an evil scum corporation. I hope you crash and burn. Disgusting. Maybe unoriginal, I definitely can see, but disgusting for making Ariel black? I mean, this was kind of funny, but I think I'm more insulted by the insinuation that Black people can swim. For I can swim, but y'all know Black women will be having hair issues, but that's another topic. I am angry about the fact that she's Black because Ariel is not Black. There's nothing unreasonable about the anger. Blackwashing white characters need to stop. So I wanted to talk about that comment, the blackwashing of white characters. As Black folks, we know that if one thing that has been shown and proved day in and day out from the day of time till now is that our culture has been replicated, our ideas have been stolen without any just due, without any credit, without any money. Our work has been used without any reparations. And the idea that there is a culture of people that has done this to another culture of people for hundreds of years are now complaining about whitewashing and making white characters, cartoon characters, Black. For me, that is the hypocrisy. That's the hypocrisy. How dare you get upset for taking our music, our food, our land, and now this is the point where you want to talk about how dare someone try to appropriate? History has shown itself multiple times, and especially in Hollywood. Not only has Hollywood taken our ideas, but Hollywood has taken our characters. And for the majority of time, characters of color, whether it's Hispanic, Black, Latino, whatever, has always been played by white people. Angelina Jolie playing a Cuban American. Where was the outroar and the rage of that? Fidel Castro played by a white man? Where are we in uproar on this? Now, mind you, these are not fictional. These are not Disney characters. People that in real life were never represented by their culture, their heritage, their race. They've been played by white folks. But not a one is protesting. Not a one is making a video. But we're doing this off Ariel. The hypocrisy of it all. Now, y'all know this made me mad because I'm a Michael Jackson fan. And in the UK, they did a Michael Jackson movie. Now, granted, Michael has changed shades as I have changed my draws. But however, Michael Jackson is a black man and was played by a white man. Where were the white people, the conservatives, on this situation? Seems to me it was silent. But we're angry about Ariel. Imagine a movie with a white Martin Luther King. How disrespectful would that be? Well, probably just as disrespectful as you made Elizabeth Taylor Cleopatra. But you made her famous. I know Elizabeth Taylor, that perfume, my grandmother, rest her soul, wore that to death. But where were your tears here? You were silent. But you're mad about Ariel. Now, y'all know I'm a Christian woman. Noah, this movie that came out a few years ago, played by Russell Crowe. There wasn't no white people, I'm sorry, in the Bible. But they sure play us. Oh, we getting there. I don't understand why they can't come up with their own stories. Kind of hilarious that they have to resort to remaking ours. Okay, it's the audacity for me. It's the audacity that because Ariel is black, now all of a sudden the sheets are coming off. How dare they make a remake and use somebody black? What's going on, Cleopatra? She wasn't white. Fidel Castro. It's the audacity for me. Jesus. Every single movie is played by blue-eyed, blonde hair, long, straggly-haired white man. But they're silent. The most important movie for me, the most important man for me, Jesus. But no one ain't saying nothing. No cries, no uproar, no YouTube videos that they continuously make my Jesus white. But we're up in arms about Ariel. It is the hypocrisy that I am seeing. You can have your disagreements and want Disney to remake something, but let's just be honest. All they do is do remakes. There's no creativity in this world anymore. Everyone duplicates, replicates every single thing. Shout out to Diddy. His biggest hits was remakes of other songs. So am I surprised that they're remaking an original movie? No, because historically they've always done remakes because Hollywood is not original. But to be upset about an Ariel that is played by a beautiful black woman, when you took my Jesus and turned him into something that he never was and in his area would never be or look like, but you're okay with that. So if you're going to be upset with Ariel, it would behoove you to make the argument completely holistic where it is upset all around. Upset that you take Jesus and make him white. Fidel Castro and make him white. Michael Jackson, Cleopatra, and make them white. It's the white tears. Just stop appropriating white movies and make your own Black content. Stand on your own. So a lot of people probably don't know this is one of my favorite shows, A Living Color. A Living Color was an amazing show with a Black cast. Of course, all of us could probably relate to one of them. But what was done with Living Single? Excuse me. Well, we created our own show and made our own content. And then that idea was stolen. Our tears, our cries, our moans. Make something new, do something else, create something else. If y'all see me on IG, y'all know I like to do my reels. I am a goofball at heart. But this situation, again, when our content that we make that is original and how it is taken still to this day from us. About a year and a half ago, TikTok, there was the Black creators on TikTok was making a stand because they were very upset that the dances and the ideas that they had that was original, that the white influencers were taking it and making millions off the hard work and labor of what we created. Months after TikTok apologizes to Black creators, many say little has changed. Where are the people upset about this? Where we have young kids, young adults creating things, and their content is being jacked, stolen, replicated, duplicated, monetized, and they're silent. You can have your opinion. I definitely have mine. But if you're going to have it, you got to put some truth into it. And you have to look historically and still what is still going today with the things that we do. The young girl that made, I don't know, this is a couple years ago, it was probably the most popular dance that they had on TikTok today. It was called the Renegade. I tried to do the Renegade, but these old bones and my old memory did not let me or allow me to do it. So I'll just continue with my two-step. But there was a young lady, and she said, I posted on Instagram, and it got about 13,000 views, and people started doing it over and over again, Jalea said in October. Of course, it got her username. But then before long, there was a Charlie D'Amelio had posted a video of herself doing it, and as did many TikToker influencers. Those influencers made that popular. They were on Jimmy Fallon. They made millions. And that little girl that was 14 years old that made that dance, what do you think she got? Did they even credit her? We're going to talk about Addison. Let's pull her up.
Dandy until that last part. We all know that Addison is one of the most famous TikTokers in the world. Her success expands far beyond the app at this point. So many fans took issue with Addison teaching Jimmy dances that she did not make up without properly crediting the original creators. Addison performed dances to songs like Corvette Corvette, Up, Savage, Laffy Taffy, and more. All of those dances we just named were choreographed by Black creators. So people took to Twitter to write things like, the fact that Addison Rae is championed for TikTok dances, whilst the Black creatives that made them never get the same platform will never sit right with me. And this is what white privilege looks like. Black creators innovate dances and do them amazingly, but Addison Rae gets invited on Fallon to perform them in a ho-hum way. She's not racist, Fallon's not racist, but somehow the Black dancers are erased, even though they dance better. Eventually, and after the public criticism, fans noticed that The Tonight Show seemingly updated the description of their video to include the handles of the original creators of the dances. Up until now, both Jimmy Fallon and Addison hadn't addressed this controversy directly, but TMZ recently caught up with Addison and she spoke out on the criticism she's been receiving. Addison mentioned that she and Jimmy Fallon have been, quote, speaking all about it behind the scenes, and their intention was not to steal content or dances from anyone. She also addressed the crediting issue and said, quote, I think they were all credited in the original YouTube posting, but it's kinda hard to credit during the show. But they all know that I love them so much, and I mean, I support all of them so much, and hopefully one day we can all meet up and dance together. Addison added that she didn't even do the original dances justice, and gave extra props to the original creators.
Addison. According to Forbes' most recent list of top TikTok earners, Addison made $8.5 million from the app in 2021 alone. And she was the only one to beat out Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio. Known for taking Black creators dancing and ideas, and off that profited within a year $8.5 million. Where are these people that are crying off of Ariel? Where are they? Why has it been so silent? It's hypocrisy to the fullest, and I'm trying to figure out if someone disagrees with me, how? Creators that have created, Black creators, are not getting credited. But yet the ones that are taking from them are making millions. And this was from last year. So we create our own. It's just unfortunate, and history has always told us that once we start creating our own, it gets hijacked and we don't get credit for our work. Oh, the rabbit hole. Now, as a Black woman sitting here with my braids, who popularized braids or who not popularized it, let's not say that. But who has made it where now it's cool for braids? Bo Derek is now called the lady that had made braids popular and made it cool. And when other cultures start wearing braids, do you think they give Black women credit for it? Our African ancestors? No. It's to Bo Derek. Historically, the appropriation in our culture, but everyone is silent.
So guys, I did Bo Derek braids and I'm really into it.
Braiding has been weaved into the DNA of Black culture for generations. It has served as a rite of passage for many young Black women. Whilst braiding has gained much more popularity in recent times, it's important to understand that hairstyle has been around for a long time. The history of braids, in fact, dates back to at least 3000 BC. People in Africa have been braiding their hair for centuries. It's believed that braiding started in Africa with the Himba people of Namibia. Another interesting concept to note is Black women have historically used braids for important purposes. Braids functioned as a carrier of messages. According to oral tradition, braids have also been a secret messaging system for enslaved people to communicate with one another. Women would use these braids as a map to freedom. The number of braids would indicate how many roads it would take to meet someone to help them escape. It is believed that braiding hair was a way to identify a person's tribe, their age, marital status, wealth, power, and even religion. It's important to understand the cultural concept of braids. Braids are not just a hairstyle, it's a skill and a form of art.
But Bo Derek is the one that made it cool. And when other cultures, white women wear braids, they champion and they celebrate Bo Derek of something that we've been doing since 3000 BC. But we're upset about Ariel. Let me pull this up because, again, it's the ignorance that we have to fight against. Do Black women give white women credit when they put on weave? No, they just make them rich. Well, do you understand the hair is not white women's hair? Do you know where weave and the hair comes from? That within itself, sir, is wrong. Weave does not come, or the hair and the packs that people sew into their head, and white people do it too. It's not white folks' hair. It's actually people of color hair. And if anybody knows about the hair industry, especially I do with living in Atlanta, the market is closed all from Indian hair, and I believe it's in Asian hair. It ain't white people hair. But again, this is when we just start talking and try to push narratives that's incorrect. It's not white people hair, but white people use it. As a matter of fact, everyone globally uses the hair. But that's a whole nother conversation. And it's not a European style, sir. We're the only ones that don't have naturally, majority of us, natural straight hair. So it can't be European when you have every single culture around the world that has probably the same kind of texture. But we'll have a hair conversation here in a moment, or maybe another show. But it's not white women's hair. So please research that a little bit more before we start pushing that. It ain't white folks' hair. And white people use that hair continuously. Shout out to Britney Spears. Let me shout out this super chat. I appreciate you, Mark. Don't forget about the Kardashians. Well, of course, stealing everyone's culture and getting praise. Shake my head. But we upset about Ariel? I'm trying to see why we are so mad, and this is white people, Black people, about Ariel, when generation and generation has taken all kind of cultural things from us and made it their own, but everyone seems to be silent. Except for me. Another super chat. I'm not even going to try to butcher your name, so I apologize. But Sophia Stewart, Black woman, created the Matrix and the Terminator. I didn't know that. Correct. Oh, blonde Dolly Parton always wears wigs and weaves, always. Of course. Because it's a woman thing too. It's just unfortunate that with white women, you can't tell or know sometimes when they're wearing weave because it looks more natural on their hair, so you can't tell. This is again about Bo Derek from the 80s, about her and her braids. And even back then and even to now, do you think Bo Derek has said anything about giving proper just due with Black women and Africans that created and made the hairstyle? No. So let's get into this. Because we always talking about original things and being original, of course. But we also seem to forget that this has been done before. So the outcries and people upset of something that has happened before. So let's talk about it on our side and the remakes that Black people have done. Clearly, with Ariel doing it again, but it seems to be not talked about, and no one was upset by this. So no, it was the Wizard of Oz. Good old Dorothy. This came first. Oh, the Wiz was first, right? I don't think it was first. Let's take a look and see. And we can pull that up. The Wizard of Oz. No, The Wizard of Oz was made in 1939. So no, it did not come first. This is the original The Wizard of Oz. But of course, and everyone's one of my favorites, I told you I'm a Michael Jackson fan, is The Wiz. We remade it, made it into our own. Is anybody saying anything about it? No. So this has happened before. We made it into The Wiz. And I love The Wiz. He's on down the road. But again, we've done it before. This is The Honeymooners. And this came out, I believe, was in the 50s. A white family, The Honeymooners. But guess who remade it? Shout out to Cedric the Entertainer, Mike Epps, Gabrielle Union. We remade The Honeymooners. We've been here before, and this is not the first time it's happening. So for me, it is the why. Why are we so upset now that Disney is making Ariel Black? Cinderella, another Disney classic that we remade. Shout out to Brandy and RIP to my darling Whitney Houston. We did this before. No one's talking about this though. No one's upset about this. And why? I tell you what though, for me, and I don't understand, is that now the new Cinderella, and they're taking out lady, the old little white lady, and making her to a man. And now these characters don't have any kind of gender. But we silent about this. No one wants to say anything about the new Cinderella and how they're completely taking out women in it and making them Z, zer, its, nays, whatever gender that they want to be. But we're silent about this. There's not a Black content creator talking about them bringing Billy Porter in as the was a woman, now it's Billy Porter, and showing the effeminization of the Black man. But ain't nobody talking about this. We want to talk about Ariel. That's what we are upset about. Not Billy Porter. That's showing Black men in not a good light. The Black community in a good light. All kind of dresses, but we're silent. It is the hypocrisy. You know, it's funny because I see you, Logic. What's going on? Probably one of, and I mean, I could talk about appropriation, and we'll be here till the weekend about our inventions that was taken, our creations, our thoughts, our opinion. We'd be here till next month. But one of the people that I will not mention is one of the biggest stealers of Black culture that is looked upon as a god in a lot of white people mind is Elvis Presley. That he took our music, our sound, our songs, did not give just due, did not give credit, made into his own, and made it into millions. But no one wants to talk about Elvis. I am. That's right, Mama Thornton. That was her song. That was her creation. She made that 4 years prior to Elvis Presley stealing the song. Did not give her credit. Still hardly credit for. You have to dig and do a little research to find this out. But we're silent on it. But not about Ariel. I'm going to drop the link for anyone that maybe disagrees with me or maybe wants to say anything. I'm not going to be on here that long. This was just kind of on my heart to talk about because I think it's very hypocritical that Ariel, the Little Mermaid, is getting so much flack when not only has our culture has been appropriated time and time again, our thoughts and our ideas, our creations has been jacked and profited more than we could ever think of, and how these creators that have taken ourselves, I can't even call them creators, but they've made millions off our backs. And for us not to take that into account, but be so upset about this particular Disney movie, it does not make sense to me. I'm going to drop the link. For you guys. Let me give it a minute. Before I do, I want to talk about again what I said before, the impact the intent versus impact. I am 100% sure that the impact outweighs intent. Case in point, you might not have intended to hit my car, but you damaged it. So that impact is going to cost me thousands. Your intent might not have been to step on my toe, but you broke it. So the impact is of a broken toe. I am not going to claim to understand or know, and I don't think anyone could claim or know just the whole intent of Walt Disney and them making Ariel Black. What I do know is that the impact that it is having on our little Black girls is priceless. The excitement that I've seen nationwide when Black girls are seeing a Black Ariel and her beauty on TV, the impact of having something besides twerking and butt naked broads in our face 24 hours of Black women cussing like sailors. But when we have this for our little girls to see, their smile is priceless. And I'm at a point right now where I want to be impactful. And you can say you're done with Blackistan and the community, but you guys know that I'm not. I'm here to fight the good fight. And it's not because of our old butts. It's because of the children. And they have a society to live in. And I do believe that it is our duty and our goals to make sure that our children are safe, that our Black girls and our Black boys have something to look at other than what's been going on with everyone dying and killing and the murders and the rappers and the twerking and the wops. They deserve something too. And if it happens to be a remake, then that's what it is. But those little girls, their reactions is priceless. I'll show you guys a few. I'm not even gonna front. When I made this, I teared up as a mother of a 6-year-old little Black girl that has already had to have conversations about why her hair is different than the other girls in her school. That has already had to have conversations with a 6-year-old about why the kids are asking her why Black people talk different. And is she pretty? This is important to me because the smile that I saw on my daughter's face when she saw the trailer, it dismisses all the negativity, all the comments, all the naysayers, because she's who we need to be thinking about. Our little girls, our little boys are the ones that we need to be saving. And the impact of seeing this shows me why I'm going to support The Little Mermaid.
Are you sure that's the real her?
She's a Black girl. They made Ariel into a Black girl.
Who was that? Want me to take you to go see that?
She got lots, Maddie.
She's so pretty.
She's gorgeous. Do you want to go see that?
Yes. I think she's round. Round, Ariel. Round Ariel is cute.
What?
She's Black.
Oh my God.
She looks so pretty.
Oh my God.
That's great.
So I know a lot of times in this space we talk about, oh no, the Disney idea. little girls look at princesses. They look at queens. They look at storybooks. They still believe in Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy because they're children. Now, as parents, it is our job and duty for them to understand what's realistic. But if you think I told my daughter about Santa, about the Tooth Fairy, no. My job is to keep her innocence. And the smile of my daughter's face when she dresses up and we have tea parties, that's what it's for. It's that innocence that we need to make sure our children stay as long as they can. They gonna get a dose of reality. But for a 5-year-old, for a little girl to see Princesses Tiana, it brings a joy to them. And I know that it did to me. So I am going to bring up some people up here. What is going on, Mr. Logic?
You made me cry thinking about Little Mermaid.
I told you the other day I was crying out this because I saw those little girls and it was special. And out of everything that's going on in these conversations and how Black girls are so rough and Black women are so tough. And then we look at Black girls being so soft and sweet. That's what I think is important to cultivate. Now, we can tell them they're not going to be princesses. My daughter is very aware. She wants to be a veterinarian and a ballet dancer. But when she puts on her little dress and prances around and doesn't have a care in the world, that's what's important to me. And when she saw Little Mermaid being Black, she said, I can't believe it. She's Black. And
I gotta say that I'm more impressed also with the reaction, but with you as a mom too. That we just don't need. I mean, the reaction from the kids is good, but also like you serve as a customer to the kids, that you care about that kind of stuff, that you care about like which is a lost art today. And I'm not gonna go into what it is. For one moment, I'm gonna talk about Wakanda. And Wakanda is what you've been saying, is how it should be. And that's my whole thing. Most people get me talking about reality all the time. But I do have like a dreams of a Wakanda. But ideally, in order to get to that Wakanda, I gotta realize where we at. And I think in this right here, you covered the dimensions. I was at work. See, you made me come up work to listen to you.
Yay!
But you showing that range that like listen to you, I can have dreams of Wakanda though, because you still cover reality. You talk about how things occur. So I gotta salute you on that. You know what I'm saying? No cap. I gotta salute you. You broke it down pleasantly, and ideally you made me think of it a little different. You know, I'm still not gonna let them off the hook.
I know. I
I can
know.
admit that you made me look at it from a different angle. I'm not changing my perspective. I'm looking at it from a different angle. And yeah, I want to salute you for that.
Well, thank you. And I think with these conversations, that's what it's supposed to be. When you say something, I should listen and take heed of what you're saying and look at it from your angle. And I do understand people's angles where it's Disney and I am seeing the comments, but I do understand children. And I understand little girls.
But you did too though. See, normally, this is how I think, right? This is your conversation. So you see, I'm not gonna come in and say, but the city girls, but not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. Because it's even though we got to go to a cartoon character to find that that true, you know what I'm saying, essence of a woman, you know what I'm saying, that's on TV. But I still say, hey, we got to start somewhere. So if the Little Mermaid Ariel is gonna do it, you know what I'm saying, then I'm down for it. You know what I'm saying? I might buy some Little Mermaid tickets. Is it out now? No, I
It
might.
doesn't come out to I think March of 2023, so next year. But I again, and I understood it when they launched it, the idea 3 years ago, and the pushback is it's not original, and why would you make these characters into a black girl? They've always been white, and now white folks are talking about whitewashing and making stuff black. And I'm like, the audacity of the decades and the years and the hundreds of years of you guys taking everything that we have done, created, worked hard for, and now all of a sudden you want to talk about fairness?
Was the first Little Mermaid black?
Well, it was. Well, you know what? I even think in the storyline it didn't have a race. It was created in a book, but it was a German author that made it. So the author was from Germany. However, the character was not a color. And if you look at the original, the Disney one, Ariel was a white girl, green eyes, red hair. But then the crab on Dorothy was a Jamaican.
Yeah, well,
So
ain't no such thing as Jamaican crab now, Courtney.
I'm just saying it was.
He had a Jamaican accent. Nah.
Well, it was from the Caribbean. So you know that crab was good and black. So it ain't far-fetched that we could make a Ariel black when the crab was already of color.
So what he was doing? So he had dreadlocks.
What's that?
Courtney, you tell me that crab had dreadlocks and he was eating oxtail underwater.
The crab had a bootsy ball fade.
Hey, he had 2 Jamaican patties in his claws. Come on now.
But it was somewhat of color. So even in the original take, it was already multicultural. So it was different cultures still represented. The crab didn't have a color, but that accent shown enough told you it was someone from the Caribbean. So, but no one said that because it was okay to make the crab that. Crabs of a barrel. You see where I'm going. But now we got Ariel.
I think they should have, if they create the movies, I think they should have that right. Like to label anybody. You know what I'm saying? Is that Michael? It's gone.
Okay.
They should have that right. Like, just like Tyler Perry should have the right to make any movie all black. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should give him pushback. If he's the author, he's the director, whatever the case may be, that's his right. If he write a book, you know what I'm saying, he should deserve the right to put whatever color character in there. And I think we shouldn't get to that point. What it do shows is that our actual influence in our community, that we don't have these Little Mermaid area type of individuals. It should be something like that across the board. You know what I'm saying? It should be them sweet little, them white girl movies, man, like the little it's like a gang of them. You go to Netflix and Showtime.
I see all of them on my Disney Plus. I see them all.
Yeah, but I mean, who can we blame? I mean, I'm like, look, on that aspect, I'm like, you know what? Well, Tyler Perry make movies, but what he making movies about? Crazy black women, stabbing niggas, killing niggas, dying on a boat. What's that movie? It was pretty good though.
Oh, yeah. Acrimony.
Yeah, that one. It was good. But that's the movies we get. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, if our girls, you know what I'm saying, and I got a girl too. Our girls want to see, you know what I'm saying, a positive black influence, like, point them out to me.
Yeah. Well, so, it's unfortunate. We don't have anything necessarily positive that is for black folks as far as an image. And that's why I think even in YouTube, where it's redefining what media looks like, and it's important that we do showcase something for children to look at or strive to be, because we don't have it. And if we're thinking that Hollywood is going to do it, when they make multi-millions off the love and hip hop and the trash box of everything, then no.
Mm.
And I don't know, like I said, the intent of this, but the impact overweighs the intent for me. And it's those little girls that seal the deal and their
Yeah.
excitement and the spark on their eyes. Oh my God, she's black, because we don't see it. And I think it's something that our kids are yearning to see.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it gets to a point that because it's nothing out there for them. So
Yeah.
now, because they role models and the influence over them would be white people or Asian people or other people. So now they will actually start looking at, hey man, what you in a spaceship? God.
Go ahead. I'm gonna bring. I know Canadian born is at work, so I'm gonna bring him up too.
And this is my computer, which I already upgraded. I will put a new picture later on. So it's not a spaceship, all
I
right?
see it. What you got to say for us, and then I'm gonna get better. You, I see you in the back. I'm gonna get you up right.
I will say this. I'm glad you made a interesting point on
Mm-hmm.
cultural appropriation because seeing a black area is not actually the first thing that have been made about us. I'll give you a perfect. I'm a comic book guy. Nick Fury,
Mm-hmm.
Marvel. Nick Fury was based on Hasselhoff, aka Knight Rider, aka Baywatch. Then the latest Nick Fury was our brothers, Samuel L. Jackson, which by far I would say I think is a better Nick Fury than anything else I've seen out there so far. He put some flavor into it. Then they were trying to make Captain America black, as in they tried to move the character who played the Falcon to be the next Captain America, but with a bunch of pushback. Another movie that I know that was disrespectful to me was Doctor Strange, when they had a white woman to portray an Asian guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Now, we didn't really know YouTube. Maybe there was some YouTube video about it, but a lot of us would say we're not having it because, one, if you're a heavy comic book guy like I am and many others, we knew that Doctor Strange mentor was Asian, not white. They got a white woman to play an Asian dude. So we were scratching our heads. So throughout Hollywood, you don't have no Asian guys that can play that part? Like, are you serious for real?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a very tough movie critic. I don't like watch movies that have no authenticity whatsoever. If I see you trying to whitewash it when the character put to be a certain thing, I turn it off. I
Yeah.
don't waste my time behind it. But for the black area, you say it was 3 years ago. I saw the ad. I showed it to my wife. I got a daughter and a granddaughter. And I asked her about it, like, what do you think about this? She said, well, you know, there will be put. I said, I know there will be pushback. What do you think about it as a mother? She said, I don't think it's a problem. Maybe it's good to have a black area. I say, yes. A mother
Mm-hmm.
would say, there's nothing wrong with it. But everybody be like, oh, they white watching it or they black watching it. I really don't care. It's a fictional character.
Yeah.
They create a positive image for young black girl. I'm okay with. I'm not fine. Somebody on the chat there, well, they kill out T'Challa, but then the guy they passed away already, and they're having problems to figure out how to do part two, so that you know what they'll pass the mantle on to his sister. I'm like, people don't read comic book like I do, so I don't even care what all the naysayers say. But
Right.
I do believe this backlash is unnecessary because there's so much more they're taking from us.
Yeah. Well, I agree. And that was my purpose. It's hypocrisy right now, where people, and I saw something. I'm a huge fan of Matt Walsh, and he said something about it kind of yesterday. And these are some of the where I was getting the comments from, where you can have your opinion, but let's talk about what historically has always been. So let's not have an opinion just off this when for hundreds of years you've been doing the complete opposite, and now you got your panties in a bunch. It's
You ain't wrong for
hypocrisy.
that. You ain't wrong.
All
And for
right.
Mr. Lada about Dream of Wakanda, you'd be surprised. They not taking place in Africa already as it is. That it's not being put on mainstream media because we don't have the mean to broadcast it.
Mm-hmm.
But some people are actually doing it right now. There's a channel called Wode Maya. He go all over Africa for the past 3 years and showcasing the different changes.
Yeah. So
So you'd be surprised. We might get there, but it's still a work in progress.
yeah.
That's
No,
what I'm gonna
yeah,
I,
say.
you
I
missed my
appreciate.
point.
Yeah, you
You
can't
know,
even born. I'm gonna get better you up.
It's like my kid. I'm gonna beat him up. Thank you. Give me a chance. I can beat him up right now.
Thank you. Let me get better you life coaching up here. Y'all got y'all at work. What's going on?
Nothing much. How y'all doing?
Good,
I
good to
said,
see
hands
you.
up, don't shoot. Look,
Nah, I'm just about to go get a bike ride in. I'm trying to drop this dry cleaning off for the place closed. But I
Yeah,
think
what you got for us?
he made a very, very big point, like about the power of representation and impact. And I know the counter to the argument that you're putting forward, a lot of folks will say that by blackwashing an established character, in essence, we're kind of taking space for a new creation. And kind of to piggyback a little bit off Canadian borns, in terms of impact, I like comics as well. Miles Morales, I dig it, but there's no superhero that hits like Static Shock to me or Icon, and those are original creations. But at the same time, too, with those creations, I feel like if we don't, or if we truly are upset at a black era, which I'm not, I think it ultimately is a good thing. I think we have to really, when we have those original creations, those original characters, we have to put our money where our mouth is. Because it's one thing for us to say, oh, I wish we weren't just blackwashing established characters and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's all about the money. Like, yeah, it's good to have the stories and whatnot, but if studios are making things and nobody buys it, what's the point?
Yeah, and I agree. It's a money thing. So of course, even with all the attention that it's grabbing, and it has for 3 years, again, it's money, and I get that. But that goes against. I mean, it goes what I was saying before, the intent and versus the impact. And I'm and I'm going to support something that is impactful in my culture and these black girls and anything that's impactful to our black boys. And when we talk about even Wakanda, I remember going to the theater and everyone was dressed in African garb and kente cloth, and we all Wakanda forever. And it was a pride there in us. And I haven't seen that or felt that in a very long time with going to a movie theater. And even though it's fictional, but that feeling was real.
It definitely is, and it's one of those things. I know it may sound cliche, but representation is important because from a contextual standpoint of ourselves, it lets us know what we can achieve. Uh, I know for myself personally, I've been at a few jobs where I came in at an entry level position and I looked up, supervisor, manager, director, president, VP, everything lily white. And it's very clear. You probably not going to advance it.
Yeah.
And I've been to other companies where you come in and it's a diverse place and it feels like, okay, I worked my butt off. Like I got a shot to be something here. And I feel like that representation in movies and pop media in general kind of does the same thing for us. Because even while you were doing your monologue, I got to thinking, I was like, I can't really point to too many positive figures as examples for young black girls. And, if it kind of to circle back to the original point, if it's, this rebooted Ariel, cool. But the fact of the matter is that we need those figures for our young boys and girls.
Yeah.
You know what? Can I say something, Courtney? And I'll explain the Wakanda thing. Is that on one side we got reality, how things occur. And then I think black people have this Wakanda of how we want things to be. Not really speaking of the Wakanda the movie, but it was good. Everybody liked it. You know what I'm saying? But before they let the Avengers in, everything was good. But ideally, that's what we want things to be. Peaceful. You know what I'm saying? Everything is, it was a perfect concept of a society. We can want that all day, but I'm saying we still gotta we got to deal with reality. And reality is that, you know what? I would love more movies like this. I would love more representation for not just young girls, but young boys also. But at the end of the day, what do we have? 50 Cent. What did he make? Power. You know what I'm saying? Kane. 1, 2, 3, 4. He did Big Meech.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they have. So when our black boys and our black girls have this, look at the characters in these movies. You know what I'm saying? Look at the women. Look at the men. You know what I'm saying? You can't, even the politicians is corrupt. Can you name me one positive character in Power that was black?
Well, maybe the daughter, but
The
she
baby.
got hurt.
He was kind of a little cool too,
Well,
though.
yeah, no.
Right,
all of them was out.
you know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah.
But it just shows, if we really look at what we take in, is few for. You know, I'm sad. I'm telling you, I can't think of one film that shows black people in a positive light. Back in the day, when I used to look at rock, I'm showing my age,
Oh yeah. Come on, Rock.
it showed black people. It even though Rock was broke. You know what I'm saying? Well, he was in the hood,
He was a good, hard-working man.
but guess what? We don't have no rocks no more. It's no more Cosby shows. It's no more all them different stuff. Black people built what we have today off of the back of that. And this is what we got now. It's no more. It's like, that's a perfect show they redoing all these shows. Why not redo Rock? Why not redo the Cosby Show? There's a lot of stuff you could have redid. But guess what? They're not going to do it because they know that a majority of black people have no interest in that. The Little Mermaid sells, it might be revealing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It might, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bust. And it might be a good film. But how many of our women, men, boys, and girls is even checking for that?
Yeah. I think honestly though, I think if it's a success, I think we'll see a lot more and even possibly more original characters too. So
Well, the thing is, and it's so interesting because I'm having these conversations with my 6-year-old daughter. And we had a conversations about black princesses and only Tiana. And because she goes to birthday parties, and of course all of the girls' birthday parties are princess parties. And you have Belle from Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella and all this, and all we have is Tiana. And she asked, how come we ain't got no more black princesses? And this is before Ariel. And I told her, well, baby girl, you're going to have to create her.
Yeah.
You create her, because no one is. Because it's unfortunate, and it shows in our society that you're not important enough to be created like that. You're not important to be made a princess. And even Tiana, if you know her story, she was struggling. And she didn't become a princess. They made her into a whole frog.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to create it. So it is a time where we got to shut the hell up and complaining about an Ariel. Well, then we need to start creating them and make our children priority, where all these other white kids get to have princesses and princes for children. And I don't want us to be in this space, in this so red pill and fantasy, that we forget the innocence of children. They don't have to understand reality right now. That's our job, is to protect them from this world. And we teach them how to run in the world, but that's over time. I ain't got to tell my child how to do taxes. It's going to come. But right now, I want her to be a little girl, and that's part of it. And she is important enough. And so right now, until we create, we're going to go see Ariel.
All right, if you're gonna do, let me know. I'll buy some tickets and then I'll send it to you. I'll do my part. You know what I'm saying? Even if I don't think it's gonna work, but I'm gonna do my part. I think you should take my money and buy some tickets for some little black girls so they can go see that.
All her little cousins and stuff. So let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down. Better you. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for coming up.
No problem. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Uh,
So I want to see the pushback, and I ain't saying Gun Street is my guy, but he's noticed how Courtney keeps using the kids to make her argument. That's the only argument I'm going to make is for the children. You think I care what an adult says about Ariel? Well, you think I'm going to debate adults off cartoons? Why are you watching Ariel as a 40, 50-year-old? You need to. What argument would I not make if it's not for the kids? This is who we need to be saving.
Yeah, but most people don't see that. I told you, it's a selfish world. They don't look at the kids like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's about self. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you look at kids as being the priority, remember I said that on the piece. They asked me who the priority in a relationship. I said, is it kids there? I said, well, if it's kids there, then the kids.
It's the kids.
And until we get that in our head, man, we done for.
Right. And we are, because it's it's at the point right now where I'm not worried about these old folks. They stuck in their head. They gonna do whatever the hell they want to do. But for me and mine, I know that my daughter has to find a husband, or a husband has to find her, that she has to go out into this world. And her realization, I want her to see something a lot better than what I've seen. I want her to be more, smarter, more focused, but I want it better, and my footprint to be better for her. That's the purpose of us being parents. Is it not?
Mm.
So we see something that brings joy to our children, and it's innocent and sweet for our girls. And those are the one that needs it, because these are the girls that's going to marry your sons.
No, they ain't. I'm sending my son to China. You crazy? My son already eat with chopsticks. Man, he ready.
You done made him into a passport bro already?
Hey, y'all talking nonsense, y'all? Nah. Yeah, yes, nah. Hey, body, I just said, yes, no.
Mm-hmm.
I would not deliver my son to the wolves of what I know to be reality.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not gonna put him in a situation that, like I said, even though this is positive images, right? I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But what's gonna happen? They gotta go back to reality. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we can go to the movies and look at Wakanda. We can see how things should be.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what we gotta do? We gotta go back to reality. Until that image, that pleasant Ariel mermaid character, until that piece start actually being what we see in our reality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be the devil's advocate, but that piece, we got to start saying that. Like, men too. Until we get men, I can't even think of a positive man that's out here either.
Yeah. Let me go through some of these comments, because again, I don't understand. I don't understand people. I've had this conversation with you. We just take it to the extreme. Y'all got to look. You talk about us being in reality, and we got to go back to reality. Well, let me tell you what reality is. For a lot of us are still not in reality, and we 40, 50, 60-year-old, and we can't even grasp reality. So we talking about Disney when people are still in a Disneyland in themselves, and they old, middle age, still not grasping reality. Let our kids to watch all the cartoons on Disney where boys are kissing boys just because it makes them happy to watch the cartoon. When did I say that? When did I say that?
I mean,
why do we have to do that? Chat Negroes, women in the chat, This is what's wrong with us. We take everything to the extreme and get in our feelings. We are talking about Ariel. When I say that? Somebody? Anybody?
It's hard though. It's really, you got to think about it. It's hard. I mean, and see, we might be, I ain't gonna say we were programmed. We just used to seeing destruction. So that now it's getting to the point where we see something positive. Like it's hard for, like, I mean, I'm with them. Like, yeah, I can look at Disney and I can see that, right? But I'm with him. If I get my kids looking at Disney, then they gonna see a whole lot of other stuff. So, but for the purpose of this conversation, yes, it's taking it off. But I understand the overall message of what he's trying to say.
Well, if we want to talk about censorship and censoring again as a parent, because what I said at the beginning is your job as a parent is to protect your child and keep them as innocent as possible. So how you keep your child innocent as possible is monitoring every single thing. What they watch, what they see, who they hang out, what they eat, what time they go to bed. That's your job as a parent. Watching Ariel, unless I find something that Ariel is kissing on Shaniqua, then that's something else. I talked about Cinderella and how no one is up in arms when the fairy godmother is now turned into Billy Porter. And saying Z, her, it, whatever as a pronoun. But where are y'all at with that? Where are you at with that smoke? Nowhere. But of course you won't say that because that's a protected class. But you ain't saying nothing about Billy Porter. But you want to say something about Ariel.
Is her name Ariel? How's she gonna change from white to black? They should call her.
You need to change her name too?
No, they should have changed her name to call her. You know what I'm saying? I could name me one black chick right around here in that area.
I know an Ariel. I got a cousin named Ariel.
Stop.
I do.
She was named after the Little Mermaid.
She could have been. She could have been. But her name is Ariel.
No, but they should have named her like Keisha. It would have meant more.
No, it's not no. For what?
All right, what about Shay? Can you imagine a Shay Little Mermaid? See like that.
Well, that should be something you should create. A whole group of homegirls that's under the sea. But they're just making her black. And like I said, since I got you on here, because I wanted to do a show on this, but I probably won't because everybody else is. Let me shut up. Better you. I appreciate you for the super chat. Cultural appropriation is old as time. The biggest example is Caesar Borgia becoming the most globally identified image of Jesus. Correct. And that's what I said. Let me show you. We're doing all this on Ariel. But the biggest thing that that we still continue and no one says a word about it is when we do this. Jesus didn't look like this. In every single Jesus movie, Passions of the Christ, how many millions did this make? And not a peep of one person that said, wait a minute, can we make Jesus in the correct image instead of a man that looks like he's from Vermont?
Nah,
but we had Ariel?
Nah, he from Nashville.
Yeah, we do have the man buns. He does look like he's from Nashville. He looks like a hipster. He looks like he's about to go skateboarding downtown with a Corona and do some graffiti art.
See, I'm with you, but then I'm like, at some point, I don't care. I think I think we need to make our own Jesus movie. Didn't we have a Jesus when it's a couple?
we had a comedy that, I thought was a little blasphemous. It was the Black Jesus,
Yeah, but
but
that's
it
what you
wasn't
do.
anything serious, or it wasn't serious. And if you have, hold on, if someone has a problem with what I say or my stance, the link is up. Come on through.
Mm. Who got a
I'm gonna.
problem?
Who had a?
Hit that link, player.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop it back again. But if you have a problem, then you are more than welcome to come through. So I was talking of, the impact, the intent and impact. So have you heard of this? And this, not to necessarily get off topic, but I think it also kind of plays a part of it. Is this whole soft girl era thing. Have you heard of that?
I seen it, but I didn't understand what it was. What they saying they were being soft now?
Oh, thank Lewis for the cash app for popcorn. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So it's the soft girl era is, I guess this is a woman on TikTok that was saying that her being soft, she gets a better reaction, and that being soft and nicer to men gets a better outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And people are upset, calling it a scam. People are saying, don't believe her. They're just trying to scam you and not to believe it.
Mm. So even with that, I mean, I don't. It's hard for me to take it at face value
Mm-hmm.
because, as you see, as the YouTube street turn,
Mm-hmm.
half of the women who advocate what they say they advocating for in these YouTube streets don't even represent in their real life.
Absolutely.
I hate. I got to be the one that said, but probably 80% of the chicks, 90% of the chicks, 95% of the chicks y'all running around looking at do not represent that. So now that's why it's easy for people to call things out like this. Like, I mean, it's a business now for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
these women to sit here and say things that men want to hear. So with this right here, I mean, I don't know. I can't blame men. Is it men or women that's mad at her?
Well, it's been men, but now it's women saying the same thing. Women content creators that I've seen that has said it's a scam and we don't believe you.
Mm.
Now, of course, I'm different, so I don't take it that way. And
But you gotta
again,
ask yourself why, Courtney. If you look, some of the incidents that I've been with you and we experienced from these individuals that say they advocate for men, I don't want to call no name,
right, but aren't
but one in particular,
right.
you know what I'm saying? It was that shows you why men is looking at it and saying, yeah, whatever. She just trying to goddamn garner some attention. She's trying to get monetized or whatever case may be, because we see it. It's in our eye. Did you hear what happened to the little Melanie King chick the other day?
What? Yes.
All right. So look, now what she did, she was this fit, feminine, all this right here, met all the criterias, right? And then she showed you she ain't that but a 304. See, I'm trying to respect your.
Well, I'm right. So I didn't get that. I got from what I saw is that someone came up and questioned her about going to Kevin Samuel's funeral, and
Mhm.
she went ham on him.
Yeah.
So
So
that
what?
wasn't
What about that?
304 behavior. That was she was pissed off and didn't hold back nothing. So of course now people are calling her a chameleon, which people have always called her a chameleon. You know, I'm used to that. They call me a chameleon. So, all right. Well, I could talk about that, but even with the soft girl era, if we're looking at intent or impact, the intent of maybe a woman trying to say, if I'm nicer to men, I can get what I want. But what could be the impact of women understanding that that's actually a principle? It's a law that if you're nicer, you do get better outcomes. What if the intent of it has it changes and the impact of it has a change of how women speak or how women are acting?
I told you, it's my Wakanda and reality.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like I
I'm
understand,
with you.
I understand why people would be hesitant, right? Y'all been the boss bitches, the bad. I can do it all by myself, women. Now all of a sudden you want a man because you can't get them, so now you want to be soft.
But see, it ain't the fact that men don't say women can change. It's right now what we seeing. It's almost like a scam.
Yeah.
Let me get up here. Let me put out my titties. You know what I'm saying? Let me goddamn look, and I'm gonna tell you niggas what you want to hear. But when I get into my real life, or I get out of my comfort zone, I revert right back into what I told you I wasn't, what I told you that women shouldn't be, everything that they said they're against, that you will find out later that that's what they represent. And that's only, I mean, them two is the other one, you know what I'm talking about. She really showed her colors. You know what I'm saying? And everybody quiet, but she really showed her colors. That I'm just like, look, you can't be mad at men for sitting here, getting finesse, and say, you know what? I'm gonna take this at face value. I might sit back and observe more. And they should, because right now it's became a hustle.
Okay.
Especially
okay.
with
So let's go with that. It's a hustle, it's a scam.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you ask men, and there was a poll that I was a part of where men was where it was asked, do you care the reason why a woman treats you good? And overwhelmingly, you know what the men said? No.
Brother, no.
I don't care the reason why she treats me good as long as she treats me the way I want her to treat me. How is that different than if you're saying women are saying if I'm nicer or sweeter to men, then I attract more, I attract better men. How is it different?
But see, she's talking about it is so in reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
A chick in reality say, you know what? If she do this in reality, these people are just talking about it, right? So from somebody who said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this in real life, it hit different for somebody sitting on the internet saying it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if they turn off that monetization button and they didn't know that it was gonna bring in dollars, you think they'll still do it?
No.
You think they had a passion behind that?
No.
If they had the passion truly behind that, then why is they not doing this off of YouTube? Why is it not reflecting their real lives?
Yeah.
So that's what the country, because I can deal with a chick that say, I won't, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be the chameleon for you, right? I get it. But she's doing that for me. This is a person online just saying it. They wasn't saying this 4 years ago. Why not?
Right. Okay. Let's go with that. Because let's just say the woman that is saying it on YouTube is faking it.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean, and you know, from being on YouTube, is that doesn't mean that the people that are watching are not believing it or taking it as gospel. So even though she might be saying saying this, and she's not living in her day-to-day life, but the people that are watching her, that are wanting to learn and are taking it in, how impactful is that?
It's impactful. I'll give you that. It's impactful. But what happened, what we going to say when we have these breakdowns? I understand, like, you know what? If her impact, I'm with that. Fuck her intent. I will go her impact. If she can be impactful to other women out here, right? Then it's good. I can take that. But at the end of the day, what happened when your intent is exposed? That's what happened.
Well, and I agree because then what will happen is then you become a fraud, and then people will not obviously believe it. So it's like, well, are you faking this? So that's actually a really good point. So I think that, and I've always said this, before these folks that give these people these big platforms to run their mouths, some of these folks needs to be vetted.
Resumes need to be presented. Resumes.
Because what tends to happen is people can say a lot of stuff on the internet, but what's funny to me is that they're not transparent with themselves. You don't know nothing about them, don't know nothing. But they have the biggest platforms.
I'm telling you, when it plays out, and then because this is what happened. Once their intent is exposed for what it is, what end up happening is that now you shitted on the trust that every man actually gave you. So that's what you seeing, what you see now. That ideally, the men at probably one point trusted what women were saying. They was like, oh man, we finally got women advocating for common sense. We finally got women advocating for it. Then what they started doing is they started saying one after one after one that their intent was exposed. So now they might have had a good impact initially, but what happened to that impact when your intent is exposed? Now the people that you was impacting, you just made them worse than what they was before. Because now they're not gonna listen to nothing that nobody say now. They gave it to you. They said, hey, Melody King.
Well, we don't have but this is what I'll say about Melanie King, because again, her situation honestly was something that I went through, and maybe not as severe, but when people were calling me a chameleon, it's because people put me on a pedestal of being ultra feminine and she's such a lady. And then, I saw a woman that I thought was coming for Black folks and I snapped. And then I became a chameleon, and still to this day, people comment and on videos saying she's horrible for Black folks and she needs to be canceled and she's a chameleon. Don't believe in her, off of me being upset and angry that someone was talking shit about Black folks.
Who
am I talking about?
Yeah.
Amira.
I might miss it. Huh?
Amira.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
that
don't even, how can that be chameleon when that's more your pro-Black side?
Because I don't think anyone knew. So this is not a pro-Black space, and no one really knew me. And this is another reason why I wanted to have this platform. So you get to know me and how I am. No one knew, even though I told everybody my HBCUs, but I guess because I don't rock an afro and my hair is blonde, then they probably thought I was more on the victim. I tell everyone they're victim Olympic and all that.
You can't worry about them, Courtney, because the thing is, if they can't listen to you until you got a little Adidas and a little no, it's not Adidas. What is it? ADOS. What is it?
ADOS?
Yeah, you got a little bit of ADOS, that little FBA in you. If they can't tell from your arguments, then now they coming into the statement, you know what I'm saying, in bad faith.
So but that's what happened with me. And so there was an all right, cancel Courtney because we thought she was something, and then she went off and she's not, she's a chameleon. So even with Melanie King, I don't know all the gist of it, but it seems like she went the hell off when someone tried to question her on Kevin Samuels. And I do know that her and Kevin Samuels was close.
The man didn't even really question. He asked her a question.
Yeah.
And then now, the thing is, you remember I was telling you about like women and they fragile?
Mm-hmm.
Don't take that China to war. Y'all fragile. So the thing is that what I saw is I saw Gangsta Boo. You know what I'm saying?
She's from the DMV area.
I saw Gangsta Boo, Gorilla, Glorilla. She might as well start saying fuck nigga free. Where them dollars at? Cause I'm serious. Like, look, I don't think look, and based on what I saw, I think that's really what she is. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't got nothing against her, but I think that's really who she is. I never canceled you, Courtney.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, so it didn't cancel, but he said I thought I was tripping.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you.
Dollars at, Melody, where them dollars at? Where them dollars?
Again, like I don't want to, speak on that situation or even where her mind was when she stabbed. And maybe you did see some gangsta boo, but does that negate her being a feminine woman if she's getting gangsta boo? Do men really think that feminine women don't go off?
No, it wasn't that she went off.
It's how she went off.
And it's just not really about how she went off. Is what she went off about. It was maybe a little criticism. And then now, but it's based on your talking points. You talk about how Black women cannot accept criticism on no forms. And then now, the first opportunity you get to show that you're different, you showed you're the same. The man ain't really even said that. Matter of fact, he was like a little Chinese dude. He didn't say nothing like facetious or that. He was like, "Oh, I just got one. I do got some pushback for you, Mel. I got one question for you." And he said it. And now she represent everything that she talk about. When she make these videos and she talk about Black women are above criticism, Black women need to listen to Black. She shitted her whole talking points. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
and I still like her though.
Yeah,
I ain't got nothing against her.
Yeah, I know you speak. I mean, one thing about you, you're quite unbiased. So you call a spade and how you feel and what you think you're gonna do it or say it. So, but what is that? So, okay, should we champion this soft girl era?
I think we should champion the soft girl era in reality. Like in reality, is the soft girl era a thing? Or is it something that's been monetized just on YouTube? Like I would champion it once I see it in reality. Like once I go out and I see girls say, "Oh, soft girl area, Mr. Logic." Oh, for real? Okay. But you don't see that. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't been out. Maybe
I'm just saying fuck nigga free. I ain't gotta worry about a fuck nigga cheat. That's what I'm saying.
I will say this. I would rather hear someone say soft girl era than F nigga free. I would rather hear that.
But the only people you seeing that's saying it, Courtney, is people that's monetized. Because they waiting on the next, soft girl era is gonna be the next, they want to make it the next average at best. It's about monetization. And like I said, what else is it until we see it happen? Until we start really seeing it in the streets.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to hear YouTubers talk about the soft girl era.
You want to hear regular folks.
Reality.
Well,
and half of the YouTubers that might say soft girl era
are not soft girls.
Shh. Yeah, go to Atlanta live show, nigga. Ain't shit.
Whatever.
But that's how I look at it. I don't look at a person word don't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
Their actions. And I look at it and I do it for YouTubers too. Most of these dudes just talk. They just talk. Like nothing. Like their own points they make don't even stand up to their own life. They can say everything, but they get in their real life and it's exact opposite. I think that's the problem with YouTube. Once you log on, you can be anybody you want.
Well, that's social media, period. That's YouTube, IG, So how does someone know if someone is real?
You observe. You see them through, you know what I'm saying, that you see how they act. And like I said, you don't necessarily hold it against them,
Yeah.
but you just see their ability to actually be accountable for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? That was kind of messed up how I did this, man. Cussed him out, all that kind of stuff like that. Well, that's not feminine, man. I'm just saying. And we see how all this stuff go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the women I talk to, and I tell them, I don't listen to shit you say. To me, when you talk, you just like Charlie Brown teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Because what you're gonna do is gonna show how I take it. You can tell me anything. I don't listen to shit they say. And on YouTube, I don't either. That's why I listen to observe to find holes in people's arguments. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, nah, wait, you said this and you said this, you said this, because I listen. People think I talk all the time. No, I listen. That's why I be on their neck, because I listen. You know what I'm saying? I can be funny at the same time and listen. But I hope these women can actually start even who did the police?
That's Paul. Hold on, Paul. Let's go ahead. So I finish what you're saying.
Hey, sorry about that.
You're
Got a little bit of the sniffles.
You
You're
good?
okay, Paul.
Hey, FBA, brother, FBA.
You hold on. Finish what you were going to say, please. You hope that these women what?
No, I hope that maybe even the illusion of it can start rolling off. Like I'm with you. The impact of somebody being a chameleon is still something that could be good, but it can be dangerous if it's exposed. Because now who's going to trust it? And be honest with you, it's only going to take like maybe 2-3 more to get exposed before these men be like, you know what, fuck this. And that's the danger of it. Like I said, the impact is good, but the danger of once they get exposed, men gonna shut down. Yeah. But I want the young girls to look at it and soft girl era. I think women are comedians anyway. isn't that how it's supposed to be? You get to somewhere and you change, you transform. That they should be comedians. This is what we ask.
Well, we all should be chameleons. If you understand, you should be able to adapt to change. So with a chameleon, it adapts to its environment. We all should. But I think in a lot of these spaces, it's I thought you was something and you're something else. So even the idea when people say chameleon is wrong, because a chameleon they adapt to their environment, which we all should be able to be adaptable to change. But when they say, I thought you was something and now you are, but on my end, it's like, no, you don't know the person. It's what you perceive or is what you hope to be. And that brings me back to this Black Ariel, is where the hope of these little girls, it's still adults in these spaces that look at content creators as if I thought you was something and you said this and you said that. Well, you don't know these people.
No.
You don't know.
Hello? Yeah, this is Mr. Logic.
What?
You said what? Melanie King gonna be on your remix? Who this? Gangsta Boo?
I'm not gonna do that, do you? I like Melanie King. Paul, what is going on?
Well, greetings, Miss
Like Melanie King. We're not gonna do that. How are you doing, Paul? Out there, it's good to hear from you. I ain't see it. Well,
yeah, I've been busy doing a few other things. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Courtney, I'm going though. I gotta go back to work.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
What a dollar's at, Courtney? What a dollar's at?
Let me block him real quick. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
Okay, I'm good. So thank you for having me on, Miss Courtney.
Of course, always.
Hope you're having a great day so far. I wanted to drop a thought your way.
Okay.
Because now you originally wanted folks to jump on in case they disagree with you about something, and I didn't catch all of your live. I caught a little bit of it. You were talking about the Disney princesses and everything like that. I'm like, okay. Me personally, I don't have any children, so I'm not trying to go see it. I'll probably catch it when it comes on Disney Plus eventually. But if my littlest youngest niece said, "Hey, Uncle PA, I want to go see Ariel," why not? I'm gonna take her because that's my niece. You know what I'm saying? But I had a thought, and I wanted to throw this your way.
Okay.
So we're talking about Disney princesses, right?
Yes.
If you really look at how things are and how the word princess is defined,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the princesses became princesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't princesses by birth. Allow me to explain. So you have Tiana, right?
You're right. She was just a regular, lost her dad,
Mm-hmm.
raising money, cooking and cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. She became a princess
She
by
became a
birth,
princess.
marrying a prince.
Now Ariel, on the other hand, she was a princess by birth because we saw her father, King Triton. He was the king of his kingdom, right? Tiana, on the other hand, she was a little black girl in New Orleans. Father passed away. We know the story. It's very inspirational, when you look at Tiana's life and her life story. Sad that, they had to add the element of the father not being around and me being a black man. That sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the Disney princesses aren't actually princesses by birth. I want you to think about that. Cinderella is not a princess by birth.
Not. She was a whole little stepdaughter that was struggling.
So when I look at everything, so when I thought about that, I'm like, wait a minute. How many of these Disney princesses were actually princesses? Like, you could go to their kingdom and not even see them until you went through the father first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in my lifetime, when I look at all the movies I've seen, whether it be Disney or DreamWorks or anything like that, I can only think of two. Ariel being one of them, and another one named Odette from the Swan Princess. She was a princess by birth. Now, she didn't have any siblings. She married a prince from a whole nother kingdom, and their two kingdoms were united. That's how they became Derek and Odette. I'm kind of revealing my age too now that I know that. But I'll bet none of your people in the comments even know what I just said.
No, I didn't. I'm gonna reset, but okay.
So,
yeah.
And so when I see Ariel, now fast forward to today, when I see Ariel being cast as a black woman, I'm like, all right, this is good, because Ariel was actually a princess by birth. Okay, I don't know who King Triton is in the movie. I'm not sure of the whole cast, but I would look at that and say, wow.
Let me say, he's played by a Spanish man that ain't nobody caring about. No one said nothing about that. His character is Spanish.
Exactly, and I think Eric is played by a white boy, if I'm not mistaken. But ain't nobody who hollering about that. But when you look at it like face value, we're just jet set on Ariel here. At face value, I like that example, because Ariel is an actual princess who has an actual growing up to do. You know what I'm saying? Who has her own little life story, who wants to be a part of a whole nother world. And it kind of makes me wonder, fictionally speaking, what would happen when King Triton passes away? What's Ariel going to do? Because when the king dies, the kingdom is supposed to be passed over.
Right.
Ariel would then become not exactly the queen, because she's not married, and we never knew anything about King Triton's wife. I don't think she was ever mentioned. But Ariel would have to have a decision to make. Nobody ever thought about that, did that?
No, we weren't getting too deep in that, but I mean, you do have a point. And I never really thought about the princesses being either born into being a princess or married into becoming a princess.
Yeah, a lot of these Disney princesses were married into it. They weren't princesses by birth.
Yeah.
Even Mulan, I don't consider her a princess. I consider her a warrior.
A warrior.
Because she's not a princess by birth. She's not even a princess by nature. She's a warrior. Okay, we're talking sword, shield, everything, and she's intelligent. That woman's a warrior. Okay, if my daughters were to grow up there, I want to be strong. I'll show her Mulan. Now that's a warrior. Sure, she's a girl, and she married a prince, and now she's a princess now, and so forth and so on. So you could say theoretically that she is a princess, but by birth and by blood and by her nature and how she came up and did what she did, that's
Yeah.
not a princess.
Yeah. Let me respond to this comment. Shay, I think I see the delusion the guys are talking about now, trying to encourage young Black women to think of themselves as princesses is probably not a good idea. So we're not talking about women.
I somewhat agree with him, though. Let me explain.
Hold on, let me say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're not talking about women. We're talking about children.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mother of a Black girl, if you think I'm raising a 5, 6, 7-year-old little girl to learn taxes and talk about sex trafficking and getting hurt by a man, and don't you hurt a man and you better do this. If you think I'm having those conversations with a 5, 6, 7-year-old, what kind of parent is that? Your job is not to tell her, as far as a baby and a toddler and a 5, 6-year-old, about the horrors of the world.
Not yet.
It's to keep her as innocent as possible, childlike as possible, and you drop the gems slowly but surely. Having those conversations where she's not delusional, but she still has an ounce of her innocence. Our children are growing up too fast.
Way too fast.
And if you think I'm going to have an option of her looking at Meg the Stallion or Ariel, if you don't think that at 6 years old, I'm not having princess parties with my daughter, we're not talking about women. We're not putting what women know and what women do in the hands of children. Mentally, they don't understand or get it. My daughter still believes in Santa Claus.
Mm.
And I'm not taking that away from her. And that's how I parent. No, she believes in Santa Claus. She sure does. Now, eventually,
She sure does, yeah.
She's starting to get the idea, though, because now she's like, now, wait a minute, mama.
I mean, personally, I never believed in Santa Claus, but I understood why he exists, because he is a figment of what the child's imagination could be. He's a fictional character, but the imagination and the storylines and the movies and everything that comes with it is like, wow, this one guy could do this. You know, it will make me think I can do anything just like he can.
Yeah, I just don't.
But I think what that guy's saying in the previous comment is the fact that I think he was alluding to the fact that women, a lot of women, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of jumping up, but when I look at his comment, he's saying a lot of women think of themselves as so far up in the kingdom that it comes with the pride. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm a princess. I'm a king. I'm a queen. I can do whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? I think he was addressing the pride that comes with when you think of yourself highly. And a lot of people need to be aware of that. Not just women, men and women, because I can be prideful at times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But being
prideful, that's why I slightly agree with his comment. I think that's where he was trying to go with it.
Well, being prideful doesn't necessarily mean think of you all as a princess to me. I mean, people are prideful regardless. That's one of the 7 sins. But for me, when I think of when my little girl dresses as a princess, her demeanor, it's an elegance to the children when they do this to little girls.
Absolutely.
Them wearing dresses. This is where a lot of these little girls are learning what femininity is. If they mama ain't sewing it, then they're looking at princesses. They're looking at dresses and wearing heels and being dainty like a princess. Yeah. If a little girl has her dad in her life, how do you think the dad is treating her?
Even better.
A princess.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Would you? I don't know if they have a school or I don't know how they do this, because obviously I'm not a girl and I've never actually seen it happen, but would you raise her to be a debutante?
Absolutely.
I think there needs to be more of that in the Black community.
I was a debutante.
Oh, were you? Okay. And I don't know anything about it because obviously, you know, I'm a guy and I don't, you know, I'm not sure. But I think we need to see more of that amongst our Black girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was just a thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. And what it is just, it's like if you're Mexican in a quinceañera, it's it's our coming out party. It's when did I have mine? When I was 15. So it's using an organization like Jack and Jill. My
Yeah.
church had a debutante where we all wore white. The guys suited up. We had a dance and dinner, but it was our coming out party is to be women and to learn women and to learn how to be a woman. And we had
Yeah.
mentorships back then too. So I agree. We should.
Yeah.
And this
You
is
mentioned.
how we learn it. If we want to save our community and we want to teach us how to be softer and sweeter and be more ladylike, if my generation didn't get it, then why in the world would I not want to talk about it or have my little girl have it? And part of that, the essence of what a princess signifies for a little girl is elegance.
Hmm.
And it's being pretty as a little girl. And it's them knowing that they are little girls. Thank God my daughter ain't trying to look at He-Man and think that she's going, no. I champion when my daughter wants to put on heels and dress. And this time that we're in today, thank God my daughter is not over here sitting confused. So anything that
Right.
champions little girls being little girls in this day and age, I'm all for it.
I'm all
Let me
for it.
get Canadian born. I see you. I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna drop you down, Paul. Was there anything else that you want to talk about? I appreciate that. I'm gonna look at these princesses.
Yeah, no, no, no. I didn't have anything. I just wanted to give you that thought, and thank you, like I said, for having me on. I'll talk to you later.
I appreciate you. You know, I'll see you in somebody's chat.
All right. Take care.
Bye, Paul.
Bye.
I did say He-Man. Okay. She does like Wonder Woman. Thank God she ain't trying to be Spider-Man. That's another thing that I think we need to think about too. Is being excited that our little girls want to be little girls. That when they see little girls, they're excited and see the beauty of being a girl. Instead of looking at it and confused, asking, well, what's Ariel's pronoun? Pronoun.
Okay, you got me off when you said He-Man. I was like,
about that.
oh
I'm
no, you didn't.
excited about
I was like, oh
little
no,
girls.
I'm about to go back to the '80s right now. When they had the He-Man, our guy cartoon, what did they make? She-Ra. We were like, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden they did a remix on Netflix, and She-Ra is more popular than He-Man. So why you gonna attack He-Man for? Like, what's up with that now?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. Even though they
Well,
did He-Man, they
yeah,
had a Netflix version whereby the one of the
of
main character was a
course.
female. She was more like.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all
It's
these
a
remixes, it's weird.
yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm definitely not a wokeist or saying yes, it's inclusion and diversity. That's not what I'm saying. It's me seeing the impact of our Black girls, and because I see that impact, and I'm going to champion that they are happy to see a Black Ariel and the little sparkle in their eyes. And I don't, Tupac always said this quote, that he wanted to be the spark that changed. And not by no means am I saying it's going to change the world. But who knows what spark you're going to put in one child? We don't know. That spark of watching a different world made me go to an HBCU where I maybe wouldn't have went to college.
I would say this, since you mentioned that, we should start supporting people who put out part of the black media. I give a shout out to Ludacris, who had
Mm-hmm.
a children's show based off his daughter on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
That's another positive influence for black media, for black little girls. I think the problem is we're allowing the mainstream media, which is mostly predominated by white,
Mm-hmm.
to make content for our children and our children's children.
Yeah.
When instead of supporting people who are now starting right now, like I said, Ludacris is one of them, and there's many that are out there, are producing content to inspire young black girls or young black boys. So this is why I say what I said, because for one, I'm not gonna give no shade to Tyler Perry how he got what he got. It was needed at that time because The industry was not giving people room to be as creative as they want. So he took an underground path to achieve something that allowed people to have the platform to do so, which
Mm-hmm.
is great. I'm not gonna give shade to Netflix, even though they're allowing people like Ludacris to create children's shows to inspire young black girls. Which I think was what's her name? Is it Karma or Carla? I forgot what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool show. I will support parents to allow their daughter to watch that because it's a cool thing. Without making shade of Shira, the old school Shira, not the present one, the old school Shira was good. This one I had a question mark because I look at all the children content I've been coming out for the past 5 years. I tell my wife that as an IT specialist, you are IT specialist just like me. If you don't pay attention to the content they watch, you will not understand what kind of undertone method they're putting out there.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the problem. This area thing is no big deal. This is meant for little girls. So when you see a grown ass man getting mad at white area black, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you have a fetish? Are you an otaku? Let me
Oh,
find
okay.
out. I'm go I'm going to the left right now. I'm throwing shade at people because I think this so-called backlash is unnecessary, it's
Mm-hmm.
unwarranted, it's unwanted because they're looking for someone to start an argument.
Yeah.
Unless what you see in the content is pushing an underground message, then you can speak about it. Until then, don't let them attack it now.
Yeah.
I saw almost a half an hour ago someone put a content about, oh, Disney kill out T'Challa. No, Disney kill out T'Challa. The guy who portrayed the guy passed away.
You
They
passed.
had a dilemma how to go with people. They had planned to do a next one, but
Yeah.
it was beyond their control. So they had to quote unquote change the script. How they gonna be? They were thinking about regulating his half brother, but in the movie he had been deleted. So how you gonna bring him back? That's a question mark. Will they comprehend? It's not in the comic books.
Right.
So when people make all the assumptions, I
Well,
can tell
yeah.
people not they're not well informed in this
Yeah.
one. They're not. That's the
Yeah.
reason why they do what they do.
You're
And
right.
I find it. I watch your program. I watch other people. I just
Mm-hmm.
listen to the argument, just like logic. I listen to the argument.
Mm-hmm.
If it makes sense, I will understand. If it doesn't make sense, I'll see why you put this idea out, where
Yeah.
you got this idea from. The problem with our people right now need to stop being all woke, go back to reading,
Mm-hmm.
enlightening and educating yourself to understand what is really going out there. I threw a link to let you know that we have people trying to quote unquote bring a reality of Wakanda into real life. Like they're a fully
Yeah. It
owned
was
black automobile manufacturing
oh,
company.
what was the rapper? Oh gosh. Y'all help me in the chat. Akon.
Akon, he's
Akon
one
was
of them.
trying to yeah, Akon.
Akon was one of them, but before Akon was doing that, there was other
Mm-hmm.
people who would do that before Akon. The link I gave you, that guy in my high school classmate went to the same high school back in my country. He took his father automobile dealership company and turned it into a full blown manufacturing company,
Yeah.
one of the first of its own kind, fully black owned. A lot of
That's
people don't know what
awesome.
these are going on right now because you don't have the media to advertise it, to promote it out, and people to see it. This is why people are saying, "Oh, we need our own land, we need our own this, we need our own that," but you don't do your homework to find out it's all being done, just that you're far behind the curve.
Yeah.
This is why people need to stop this social media nonsense. I used to work for a social media company back in the day, late '90s, before it came what it is right now, and I see people go caught up with the he said, she said, but never did their homework. You do your homework. I give you a pop. You went to school to be a journalist, so you
Mm-hmm.
understand
You see how
what
I
it
do I
takes.
do,
I
I
did
do
my
my
homework.
homework.
Come
I
on, I
don't
do
come
my
up
homework
here
too.
just saying
I
yit
know who
yak
you
yak.
are. That's why I respect you. This is why I fully respect you on a
Thank you. I
higher
appreciate that.
level because you went to school, you were educated in what you're doing, you understand the craft, and you do the work that need to be done before you come on the platform and speak on certain things. While some
Mm-hmm.
people think like an empty barrel, yes, I said it, I'm African, this is how we think.
Mm-hmm.
With no substance, with no value, want to speak on things they haven't done their homework on. That's
Yeah.
why when you speak, I listen to you and see how you do your homework and how you connect the dot.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do that more often before coming
I
on the
agree.
platform and
I totally
spew
agree.
garbage
I agree.
when they don't have nothing to back it up with.
Yeah.
Yes, I support Voldemort in filter. And what?
Well, Canadian born, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it down because I'm gonna go
No
ahead
way.
and wrap it up. But I appreciate you.
Hey, you
Thank
want?
you.
I'm gonna talk to you on another time. We're gonna talk about PC stuff, but not on your channel kind of
When
thing.
you hit me up whenever, you know I'm available whenever for you, for sure.
No problem.
All right. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Well, that conversation went a lot of places, which I'm glad it did. I think as always, it's always great when I go live and talk to you guys. And Black Ariel, the hypocrisy of a lot of the people that are complaining, I think it's laughable at this moment. I will say this though, and this hasn't been said, but I think it's important, is that now the character that is playing Ariel, Halle Bailey, she has a responsibility that we need to hold her accountable and to the fire for. She now is garnishing young girls, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, that's going to be looking at her. And they're not going to know her from TikTok, Shade Room. They're going to know her as Ariel. And the responsibility that she has now is something that I'm going to hold her accountable and to the fire for. So what you're not going to do is show my little girl she can be a Black princess or a Black Ariel, and then you shaking all what your mama gave you on TikTok. We need to hold her accountable into the fire with great, with that responsibility. She needs to be held accountable. So you want to be Ariel? You got the position. All these young Black girls are now looking to you. And if you do a disservice to my child, then you will get a disservice to these hands. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. It's always been a great one. I got to figure out my times. I kind of like doing it a little earlier. It means I get to go off and eat and sleep. So I'm going to end it by showing our beautiful Black girls and the excitement that they saw and why the impact will forever be greater than the intent. So let's go to our little babies who we are doing it for and who we need to protect. And until next time, be a blessing.
Are you sure that's the real her?
She's a Black girl. They made Ariel into a Black girl.
Who was that? Want me to take you to go see that? She got lots, Maddie.
She's so pretty.
She's gorgeous. Do you want to go see that?
Yes. I think she's round. Round, Ariel. Round Ariel is cute.
What?
She's Black.
Oh my God.
She looks so pretty.
Oh my God.